Hi everyone, Bandanner here. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a little preview or review of the new Army General campaign coming to WARNO next week, Bruderkrieg. Over on my RTS Cast and Stuff channel, you will find part 1 of my gameplay through the campaign. The rest will go up in stages over the weekend. They are going to be on average about 2 hours long, so watch them at your own pace or skip to the bits that interest you. However, in this video over here, we're going to talk a little bit about Bruderkrieg, what's still to come for Army General, the improvements and things that have been made over time, and then we're going to have at the very end a little preview of the new map Hesse. Now, the other elephant in the room is going to be the massive changes that will come with this patch, such as more reworks and the tank changes and things like that. Simply put, that is an entire massive video or stream in itself. I can't really do that in this video without making it stupidly long. So we're going to focus today on Army General and the new map. So the Army General campaign has been a long time coming, or should I say all of the campaigns, because this is only the first campaign and it's the short one. This was a prototype so they could test all of the new systems, which they then expanded into a full Army General campaign, and thus we ended up with Bruderkrieg as it is today. Now, what I want to reassure you is, while they say this is a shorter campaign, it's still fairly long, especially if you play all the battles and don't auto-resolve them. For my initial playthrough, which you'll see in the video over there, I've played it on normal with the intention that I'm then going to play it on elite as the opposite side afterwards. Now, the other thing I want to mention is to reassure everyone that although this has been delayed, it's for good reason and the results speak for themselves. It is in a much better state than it was a few months ago. Obviously, I can't say a huge amount, otherwise I'd be breaching the non-disclosure agreement. However, the good news is, and what I think I can get away with saying, is that they have listened to the feedback on these campaigns, and some people have given them very good feedback on the AI, etc., which they have gone back and looked at, and I would like to report that this has worked. The AI is in a much better place than it was previously, and obviously playing it on the higher difficulty levels, there is a noticeable difference in how it performs. Obviously, I suspect in this, as with any other game, the AI does cheat a little bit as it gets higher and harder, but at the end of the day, the results speak for themselves, and it does actually show a distinct difference between going from trained to elite. There's also been various improvements across all of the new features they've added to the campaign, and an improvement to auto-resolve from their previous games as well, which I'm sure will please a lot of people who've just had enough of fighting that same mission over and over. Okay, so all these fantastic improvements aside, which I am genuinely very impressed with over previous campaigns that they've done, including the tutorials, by the way, which you should definitely check out. I think we want to talk a little bit about the gameplay aspects of it. So you have to choose your faction. You're either Pact or NATO. Pact is mostly East German forces. NATO is mostly, I stress mostly, West German forces, but with some Americans in there as well, and some involvement, it seems, from the British, though you don't see any British units. But the campaign intro does feel very British. You'll see what I mean when you play it or you watch my video. So once you have chosen your side, you watch the intro, you get a little bit of instruction on what your objectives are and what may or may not happen, and then depending on the position you're in, you may get a warning at the start. Do heed the warning, or you could be in trouble. I don't want to give away too many spoilers for those who don't want it spoiled. Obviously, for all of the combat, you are limited to the predetermined battle groups that are based on historical accuracy, so you could just have tanks and a few vehicles and no infantry in your battle group, or you could have a load of infantry and some artillery but no tanks at all. So going in headfirst into a battle with just one battle group could be a huge mistake. Sometimes you will need multiple battle groups to be able to put up a real fight, or you'll back yourself into a corner and end up losing a lot of units which you cannot get back. Or perhaps even worse, you send a battle group out on its own and then get surrounded, and then you're in real trouble. The battles themselves are a lot of fun. You can approach them, I guess, in different ways. If you're on the defensive, then you just set up a wall and you hope you can hold the line. If you're defensive, you start nearer the capture points. If you're on the attack, you start further away, and then you have to push into them. I was very pleased to see that one of the defense maps I got was actually tension from the side that I said would be really cool as a defense wave game mode. So that was quite fun. Obviously, if the battles are getting too grindy for you, there is the option to auto-resolve, especially if perhaps you just completely overwhelm the enemy and they stand no chance. Just bear in mind that whatever units you lose permanently. And obviously, being a human versus an AI, let's be fair, it's worth playing them out if it's coming out as a minor victory, a draw, or a loss, because there's a chance you can turn it around. Though I will warn you, the AI can be nasty and they can be relentless. Now, when you're on the big map, you obviously have your main little battle groups, which are going to be mostly tanks or mechanized infantry. You also have some supporting roles, such as air defense, which can be moved around the map, and it has a ring around it. That ring is its air defense range, and it can actually act on a tactical level to stop incoming enemy air support. So if they try and bring in jets, you can deploy this in advance, and it will attempt to shoot down incoming jets, so they can't even go in and support the enemy in the battle. I will note that squadrons containing siege jets actually get a free pass and basically deactivate that air defense as they come over and can engage in the battle regardless. Otherwise, there is a chance these jets are intercepted and have to return to base and cannot aid in the battle. And obviously this applies to you and the enemy. Both sides can have air defense. You also have artillery battalions, which again have a big ring around them and can provide support in a longer range than other units can. So there are plenty of options for other things to get involved in a fight other than those main battle groups. And you will 100% find you need this support because some battles cannot be won without the support of air and without the support of things like artillery or additional infantry. And it should also be noted here that there is a time limit on this campaign. You only have a certain number of turns before it ends, and then whoever has the most points wins. So some of this is a race against time to push and hold, or indeed to defend and push back. I would say, and with no offense to Eugen, this is a much better attempt than the previous attempt, and it's just a taste of what is to come for Army General. Obviously, there are 4 other bigger campaigns that will be coming as well, and I'm really looking forward to those. I don't want to say too much more at this stage because I don't want to give away any spoilers for the campaign itself, and I feel like we're venturing into that now I've talked about the main mechanics. I do highly recommend you give it a go next week. I think it is a lot of fun, even if you haven't enjoyed their previous campaigns. Give it a go, see what you think. And remember to head over to the RTS Cast and Stuff channel, check out my gameplay over there, and remember to hit the subscribe button over there as well. Alright, let's take a look at that new map. Welcome everyone to Hesse, the new map with the train tracks. Unfortunately, there are no trains on it. Sad times, I know. There's no moving trains or anything. The train tracks run down the center of this map on a hill. So there is a huge line of sight break all the way down the middle of the map. So that's something you're going to have to bear in mind. Obviously, if you're on top of it, you can kind of see far away, but not right down the side. And if you're right next to it, you can't see on top. If you get a bit further away, you can kind of see on top. But it's going to make some interesting gameplay and perhaps trying to get behind the enemy, running your units down this side or this side. A lot of the fighting, I think, is going to take place on the actual built-up area. Once again, this is very similar to the previous maps we've seen, where one side of the map is certainly more open, but this side is a lot more clustered in terms of the buildings in places. Yes, there's some gaps between, but there's some bigger clusters of buildings, like over here, for example. Let's have a quick look at this side first. So you got some destroyed buildings around here and up here, and then you've got a couple of farms where the actual points are, which is what you'll be fighting over here. At the other side, again, we've got some destroyed buildings and terrain at the edges. Now, I think this is the idea that, you know, forces are encroaching on the city, lots of destruction as they get closer, lots of artillery, etc, etc, etc. Maybe tactical nukes, who know? Maybe tactical nukes, who knows? You've got a variety of buildings, which seems more like it's going from the suburbs in towards the centre, because you've got lots of houses and some industrial buildings and maybe a few blocks of flats and things. And then over here you have those big tower blocks. Now what I will note is if you come to the middle of the map, there's definitely an advantage to the right hand side team here, the red team in this case. They start much closer to all of these tall buildings. So there's definitely going to be some fighting over these. They have, again, good line of sight as ever because they see very far. So lots of fighting over there. Probably lots of artillery hitting those buildings as well. And then you're going to have a bit of fighting in the middle. You do have some buildings to go through here. And then you have a bit more of an open area here. So pushing is probably going to be more at this side. But obviously there is the option to push down the side here. Sneaky, sneaky. And then come back over the top there. So you're going to have to watch your flanks a little bit here, because there is potential for your enemies to overwhelm by coming around from the side there. But I don't want to spend too long on this. We've already, you know, had quite a long video talking about Army General, but just to show off the new map. Again, I think it's a really good map. I think it would be another one that is really good for a defensive operation, defending against enemies attacking from that direction, and you're trying to hold the city itself. Good options for Army General there, in my opinion. But I'll leave it there. Thank you for watching, everyone. Please do like, share, and subscribe. I hope you all are looking forward to Army General next week.